It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well. Welcome again to Sheba Shares, a part of the Divas That Care network. I'm so grateful and this experience is just amazing. I love the fact that I'm able to interview, to share this space of learning. I've learned a lot. Delving into certain topics and exploring, things, expanding, my mindset, not only minds, but also those who are listeners literally across the world. And so we have another amazing woman who I so happen to know personally, right? And then as well as professionally, as far as my work that I do. And I thought that she would be a great person to bring onto our platform today. And so I wanted to introduce you listeners, everyone who's listening, to my sister, my friend, Sheila. Sheila, hey girl.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. I love it.
You are so welcome. So listen, I'm not gonna jump into the whole shebang just yet. I just want to take maybe like a minute or so. Introduce yourself. Let us know why are you so amazing? Why? Tell me.
All right, I'll try to make it short. So, as you said, we are friends, and I just think everything you're doing for the Divas That Care is amazing, and so honored to be able to share in this platform. So, I think the easiest thing is, I'm just very, very mindful of the position that I'm in, and I just want to help lead more. So, currently, I am a branch vice president for a credit union, and I've been doing that going on 7 years. So a day in the life, I'm able to talk to all different types of people, from young to old to millionaires to someone starting out their first job. And I learn from each and every one of them. I think what makes me amazing is the title does not stop me from building a relationship and getting to really know and see what I can do to assist, because I believe everyone in every part of their life need help. So I speak with a lot of different people, and it's amazing how we have some of the same mindsets. So I'm just really grateful to be able to use my platform to get out there in the community, especially our community, and share that knowledge, wholeheartedly, not for any type of gain, but really just because it's what I love to do. I think it's my purpose for sure.
Wow, that's so amazing. So just to give you a little bit of content, our topic today is about financial literacy, and others would deem it as financial wellness, right? And speaking of which, Let's just jump right into it. Right? Because I always hear these, different terms: financial literacy, financial wellness, So is there a difference between financial literacy and financial wellness?
I absolutely think so. I think the term financial wellness is something that you're going to hear a lot more of. It's more of like a hashtag phrase, because it's more understandable than like your financial literacy. So you think of literacy as, that understanding. It makes it more textbook, and sometimes we lose our audience. So in financial literacy, I would coin it as your understanding of your finances, from, how to balance a checkbook or how to pay your bills on time. I like to think that financial wellness, with that wellness piece, is to, really assist. So you think about the core values, you need to eat, you need shelter, and you need to be able to take care of the things that are important to you. And that's that wellness part. And without that, you can get ill. So with the financial wellness part, and I share that with my members, it's very important that we start talking more about it so that we can have an overall wellness. Because most people, they'll have a lot of their stuff together, but then that last part, like financially, where are you with that?
Wow. That, that's amazing. Because if you think about it, think about it in its simplest form, right? If let's say, for instance, I start getting these symptoms, right? So I get these symptoms that appear to be like a cold or what have you. And I'm just like, ignoring it, acting as if it doesn't exist, maybe doing like little things to, as they say, Band-Aid it, right? So I'll get orange juice, something, whatever the case may be. And like you said, eventually you'll get ill, it might turn into a flu, it might turn into a pneumonia, it might turn into, all these different phases, if I can say, or different dynamics or aspects of illness, right? And the same holds true as it relates to your finances. If you don't handle your business, right? If you keep ignoring, which we're gonna get into this in a minute, because I learned a lot about financial wellness. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed is, it reminds me so much of like emotional intelligence. There's some type of emotion, like you said, financial literacy is just textbook. Listen, this is what it is. This is the fact. This is your credit score. This is your utilization. This is your, but the wellness really connects and dives into this emotional relationship, if I can say, that we have with money, right? And like you said, it's like, this hashtag, this coin phase, but people are really, really starting to pay attention to it because, in my opinion, I think just with a physical sickness, right? There's like financial, people are sick financially. And then on top of it, the funny part is that it actually does affect your physical well-being as well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's so interesting. So, so what do you have to say about that? What is your thoughts about that?
So absolutely. I think, so I kind of go through like especially for this topic, like the top three things is, your financial relationship, your money behaviors, and getting uncomfortable with that financial wellness, so to speak, right?
Wait. Hold on, sis. You gotta say that again. Come on. You gotta say it again. Say it again.
So we're gonna go your financial relationship, your money behaviors, and getting uncomfortable with your financial wellness, because that is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
It's so dive into it, right. I had to say that. Like my heart started beating fast.
Right. So when I think so let's start with the first one. So your financial relationship. So that relationship part, like with think of any relationship that you have, you have to nurture it. You have to be in the moment. You have to be engaged, right? It takes two to be in any type of relationship that you're in. So for a financial relationship, you have to find that information. So I'll tell you a short story. So for me, Sheba, we grew up together, so we made it happen, right? But we did not always have that guidance. So we worked a lot. I worked my first job. I saved up. I knew nothing about credit, nothing about finances. I had to figure that out. And the relationship I had was, I don't want to owe people because I've heard so much about it from my mom and my family members. And their relationship with it didn't seem positive. And I wanted a different financial relationship for me because I knew, especially growing up in New York, that I wanted something different. I didn't want that paycheck to paycheck life. And I wanted to have a better relationship, right? So that goes into the next one, your money behaviors. How are you with money? So behaviors are either taught or learned, right? So someone teaches you, how to behave. You go to church, you sit down, you listen. You don't play around, you don't scream, or you get smacked, right?
Right, or pinched.
So, right. So, you don't cut up in church, but if you're outside, you can cut up a little bit, right? Now, we're talking about what's learned. I watch the people around me and their behaviors with money. So, don't spend what you don't have to show off for someone who doesn't care, right? So with my money, I made sure if I was going to spend money, I needed to make sure it was something for me because it was what I wanted to do. I wasn't trying to attract someone else. If I wanted to go out to eat and have a nice steak, that's what I was going to do. My bills were always going to be paid, but I wasn't going to be just spending money just for the sake of it. Right? Then you go into your next one, getting uncomfortable. Although I am a VP and I talk about financial wellness all the time, there was a time where I was not where I am now. You know, I am a homeowner, but I just recently bought my home right before COVID. So a lot of people think, oh, you got it all together. No, this financial wellness is an everyday thing. And just like in any relationship, there are uncomfortable times. You're shifting, you're growing, right? You are learning more about money, and now you're getting uncomfortable because now, oh, I've got a mortgage. I might not be able to eat all those steaks that I wanted to eat. Right? You know, I was thinking it every week. I got to get uncomfortable to say, hey, I would love to go hang out and have drinks. I just can't because I have a responsibility. And if I don't get uncomfortable up front, then it's going to make me uncomfortable later because what happens, I can't pay that mortgage. Then something happens with my car. And because my money behaviors were bad, I can't pay for that car. And then my financial relationship is bad because now creditors are coming for me because I haven't paid. So those all go together. And you have to have those conversations. And especially in the Black community, especially for Black women, because we are trending as leaders of the household financially. Yes, we are. So we are now.
Y'all can't see my face.
We are leading. So it's very important because they always say more money, more problems. That is it. Because you get more money and then the things that you had out of reach are now in reach. And then your behaviors about money change. And then you're no longer getting uncomfortable with yourself because you're like, I got it, I'm good. And then you get sick. And then your financial wellness has you sitting trying to figure out what to do next because you didn't game plan.
Wow. You know, that's very, very, it's powerful. It's impactful. It's insightful. It's needed. You know, it's needed. Yeah. You mentioned something about having the right conversations, right? Do you suggest or do you recommend that a person, whether it be a woman, man, whomever, right? Do you suggest that they have these conversations with any and everybody? Like, do you know, because you know, sometimes they say, oh, I have an accountability partner or,
right.
You know, whenever you're trying to obtain a goal or whatever the case may be, you know, who should people have these conversations with? And what should these conversations look like?
So, you know, that's a really great question. And maybe I would say before, you know, this evolution of this wellness, I would have said, yeah, absolutely. Shout it to the world. Have a conversation with everyone in your circle. But now I would say everyone usually knows an expert, someone that is top of their class in the thing that they do best. In my opinion, I highly recommend to speak to a financial advisor or a banker, someone that specializes in that particular thing that can be unbiased. They can also be your accountability partner. Right. And they can be someone that you can be 100% uncomfortable and honest. Because I'm going to tell you this. One of the top reasons people get divorced or have falling out is because of money.
Yep.
And it's because we're not having that uncomfortable conversation because that person knows us and they use that against us. They start to judge us based off of how we want to change and have a better financial wellness relationship. So you start talking about money with your friends like, hey, I noticed the last couple of months you needed to borrow some money, but I also noticed you were going out every week. Why don't you have a conversation with me? Would you like to come meet my financial advisor? This is why I'm not going out. Sometimes you alienate people because they think that you're trying to be better than them when you're really trying to educate them. And then that in turn stops you from getting uncomfortable with yourself. So I would say kind of find that person that you look up to that has that experience because you really are going to learn from them. You're going to see their behaviors. You're going to see why, if something comes up out of nowhere, they're not stressed, they're not running around, they're not asking, they're like, hey, something happened, I'm not going to be able to do this, but I was able to take care of this thing. That comfort in your financial wellness is going to override everything. And people get jealous. I'm going to just be honest with that too, because you are making changes that are different than anyone in their circle. So they tell you if you're the smartest person in the room, you need a new room, right? That's kind of like that mindset. So I would definitely recommend most of my members, I am their accountability partner. I am the person that is like, okay, listen, this is what we can do based off of what we have. Mm-hmm. I'm not the person that's like, yeah, go and do that. But I absolutely think most places offer that service for free. My credit union does. Most places do. Like, hey, I need to speak to a financial advisor. I need to get some things in order. I need a game plan. Right. And you need that, because if you're not uncomfortable with talking to yourself about it, you need to be uncomfortable with talking to someone else. So that way that conversation gets better, and then your financial relationship gets stronger. And that's what every relationship needs, strength, by having uncomfortable conversations.
It's so funny how I think that, I mean, literally everything in this world, the foundation is a relationship. You know, yes. I mean, it's like amazing how some of the principles that apply to a relationship or a marriage or, you know, a covenant, committed partnership or you know, it applies to money. You know, it's like the craziest thing ever. Like, I actually had a conversation with my husband about that a few years ago. Because I forgot, like, he did something, and you know me, anyway, but we're not gonna go to that part. But we're gonna go to the part was where he taught me something, and he said it. He said, the more uncomfortable we are, the more we'll grow. And sometimes I think that is vice versa. Like, oh, everything is going to be, you know, roses and wine and cheese and crackers. And he's like, no, sweetie. Nope. That's not it. You know what I mean? Because like you said, just like in any relationship, the longer you're in it, the more you learn about it. And the same holds true for money. The longer you have it and managing it well, let me put it like that, not right, but, and you're managing it well, the more you'll learn how to work it. Like, you know, you heard this term, I want money to work for me. And that's really what that is alluding to is I want money to work for me. So in other words, what you're saying is that I want to learn how to manage money better. Really. It's not just, you know, having 1,000 businesses and hustling and no. Because you can have 1,000 businesses hustling and still know nothing about money. You know what I mean? That's why at the end of the year or whatever the case, or the end of your goal phase or whatever it is, right? You can say, what do I have to show for my money? Like, you know, because you have all of these different moving parts, but again, like no real game plan, and no accountability. So I think that is absolutely amazing. And I know that you mentioned your clients. So tell me more, like, tell me more about that. Like, what is this something that's like very close to your heart? And if it is, explain what it is and why is it that way?
Absolutely. I would say for the last 2 years, my main focus has been to educating our youth, as well as talking to our minority members in reference to home ownership. And the reason being is there's a lot of fraud out there where it appears that people are unable to get homes. Mm-hmm. It's a mindset, and it's a combination of the world, the people they're around, and what so-and-so told them. So if I'm given the opportunity, I have real conversations with my members, and I let them know. So right now, I would say the last few projects, I've been going into schools and educating younger adults as small as 7 years old, all the way up to high school, as well as their parents, educating them and letting them know, do the research. You know, I can come and talk all day because I'm passionate about it and I love it, but do the research, go behind me. This isn't stuff that I made up. It may seem hard, it may seem challenging, but if you set aside a goal for yourself, it can be achieved, especially with home ownership and having an asset COVID came and destroyed a lot of people's mindset about that. So now it's like, I'm just going to live in an apartment. You can still get the home that you want. You may have to wait a little bit longer than what you first initiated, but you can get it. Right. And that's okay. And I think just going through those conversations and speaking with my clients. And then lastly, my focus is to just really invest in our small business minority owners, because financial institutions have a lot of money to give. They do. That's how we make money. If we give you a loan and you pay us back. Right. But what I want to make sure our minority owners know is it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay if you ask for help and you get denied. Don't run out the room and not listen. So what we weren't doing a good job is educating them and letting them know, hey, I took this application sheet, but right now it's denied, and we gave no context. So what I'm doing is making sure that we have a really uncomfortable conversation. You know, what's your credit score? What's your tax returns look like? Are they completed? If they're not, why not? You are a business owner. You need to get that taken care of. I'm not going to give you money if you don't have what I need. And then if you're declined, this is what you need to do. You're getting all this money in. You need to pay your debt. You need to pay what you have in collections. You need to stop having 3 Mercedes-Benz. Why do you need that? And really helping them think differently. Why do you need that? Who are you trying to keep up with? And once we get that conversation, there's trust that's built. So all day, I'm just talking to business owners and helping pivot and get their business elevated to where they can come in, call me, hey, Sheila, this is what I need. We're good. And that's really what I've been doing. And again, this is something dear to my heart. So I'm not asking for compensation. I'm not asking for anybody to show me around. I'm asking for an opportunity to be honest about your business, because that's what I specialize in. You do the work and we partner together.
Wow. That's amazing. And so, I mean, what's your secret? How do you keep up with all these things?
Oh, man.
Businesses and, I mean, just your own
Yeah.
you have a beautiful family. I mean, you know what I mean? Girl, you have a lot
Yes.
to do.
You know, I will say that, I went to a business of African-American Black Forum last week. And one of the things one of the speakers said is, as a business owner, you have to sacrifice, right? And those sacrifices come out for the better. So some people are like, well, you're not a business owner. You just work for a corporation. To me working for the corporation and using my leverage to help business owners is my business.
That's right. Yeah.
So what I do is I make time. If you're going to make time to listen to me, I make time, but I do set the standard. If you call me after 6, I won't answer. I'll follow up as early as 6 in the morning. I'm up in the morning early. And if I'm off or if I'm on vacation, I'll let you know a week in advance and I'll give you a point of contact. And if there's a 911, I'll try my best to assist, but I try not to overstretch myself because I do have a family. I do need to make sure my mental health is still intact. And I want to give them the tools so that they can go and they can share it with someone else. And I would say that's probably the most challenging part because I want to help so much, but I've been learning to say no. And just stay on track. If I'm out of the office, hey, I'm out of the office. I'll call you in the morning. And they know, okay, Miss Sheila, I got you.
That's
so
right.
They're, respect for each other's business.
Respect for each other's business, respect for each other's time,
Right.
That's very, very important. So if you don't mind, if you can just repeat what am I going to call? I don't even know what to call them. I feel like I have to coin the term.
No.
Our top 3s one last time for the listeners.
Absolutely. So for the Divas That Care series, the top 3 for financial wellness for me is financial relationship, money behaviors, and getting uncomfortable with your financial wellness.
That is so excellent. And I'm hoping that the listeners, they got that. So one last question, because I mean, at the core of my purpose, right? And everything I do is centered around women, which I have a few men that I think I want to interview too, but
right.
What does a wealthy woman look like to you?
Wow, that's a good question. So for me, I would say, a wealthy woman has a beautiful smile, a warm, welcoming approach, and has no color. It's just all in their present. You walk into them, next to them, you immediately feel that aura, get that vibe, and you just want to know and be next to them and learn. It has nothing to do with money. I've learned so much from people that you would have never thought of. So a wealthy woman to me is just somebody that when you walk past, you see them and you're like, oh, she's that. I gotta be like her. I gotta get next to her. I gotta see who she's talking with, what room she's in. And you know, I definitely hope that that's something that I attract. And if not, then I'm working on that. And just being yourself, knowing yourself, you know, being very confident, whether it's seen as arrogant, just knowing like, hey, when you see Sheila or when you meet Sheba, oh yeah, she's the real deal.
Wow. Yeah, that came to me like, you know.
I love it.
I'm gonna catch you off guard. No, I'm joking, but you did such an amazing job with that response. And you're right. Wealth is so beyond money. Financial wellness is even beyond money, because you know, one of the things that we're basically saying is that it's, you know, everything is relatable. You know what I mean? So even we're talking about one thing, but it affects the next thing. And more importantly, which we've had these, so everyone say hello to our live audience. And so, yes. So we've had these, you know, one-on-one conversations as it relates to this desire, this burning desire for this financial wellness to trickle down to our children and our children's children, you know? So it's not only is it relatable, but it's generational, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so that's the main reason and the reason why I said, okay, I have to get Sheila on here. I have to get Sheila on here because this can help. And even though, yes, we're in America, right? Because there are listeners around the world, but some of the same principles, the core of the principle is what we really want you to get, and not only get, but practice, master, if that.
Absolutely.
So master it. Like you said, spread the word, you know, because this is really what this platform is about. It's not only sharing this space, highlighting amazing women, but it's how does what Sheila know? How can I get it to other people in the world? And so thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Girl, thank you. It's always an honor just to, you know, connect. And we you know, we've connected when we were younger, but now to see, you know, these amazing things that we've been able to accomplish. So it's very humbling. It's, you know, it's honoring. I just love everything about it. So Miss Sheila, tell us, where can we find you? If we wanted your services, if we wanted to see, you know more about you, where can we find you?
So the best way, I'm on social media, but it's more of a personal page. The best way is my LinkedIn page because I'm really active. You'll see a lot of my community involvement on there. So if you type my name in, I'll pop up through LinkedIn, and I'll be posting a couple of things on my Instagram, but LinkedIn is probably the best way to catch me. It has all my contact information. I am available to talk to anybody at any time as long as there's availability.
Right. Okay. You said as long as there's availability? Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm sorry, it broke up. Yeah, as long as there's availability, if we need to schedule, if it's a time constraint, I'm really big with letting you know what I'm available, what I'm not available. Fastest way to catch me is probably email, just because I'm always back and forth with my phone or at my desk. But yeah, I'm available. I just love to talk. And if anyone's interested in listening to what I have to say, and some very honest feedback without feeling attacked, just for the benefit of helping with the growth and that financial wellness, yeah, you can reach me on LinkedIn, Sheila McMullen.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And then also, listeners, look out, because we actually have an event that's budding and brewing that we want to go a little bit further into this idea, this lifestyle of financial wellness. So look out for it. It's coming soon. We're just putting, dates and things together. So again, for those who are listening, thank you so much for joining Sheba Shares, a part of the Divas That Care Network. So look out for more to come. If you want to be a guest, listen, hit me up, reach out to me. My Facebook is Sheba Empowers, pretty much all over the platform. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, on the Divas That Care Network. So until next time, Jubilee says bye. Sheila, I'll check you another time. Joyce is
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. All right, take care, everybody. Thanks.
All right, take care.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.